let's start here, y'all. Let's start here. So Juneteenth is at this point going to officially be a federal holiday, right? Now, originally when I heard this, I was like, and like, I don't care. That wasn't one of the things I was asking for. Like, I really don't care. Like, who cares? Like a federal holiday and what? Like, what does it really matter? But then I had to pause for a minute because one of the things, I'm degreed in Black Studies. I love history. And then I heard Illinois Rep. Danny Davis, who's 79 years old, talk about Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday. And I kind of paused for a minute and I said, let me just think about this for a second. Listen to Rep. Danny Davis talk about this yesterday.
I rise in strong support of the recognition of Juneteenth as a national holiday to celebrate the ending of the most horrific period, the most horrific policy and practices this nation has ever known, slavery. I heard one of my colleagues suggest a moment ago that perhaps the cost of Juneteenth is not known. I guarantee you that whatever the cost, it will not come close to the cost of slavery. Juneteenth is a recognition that darkness can come to light.
That kind of touched me a bit. It kind of touched me. Now, there's so much work that needs to be done. Let's be clear. Like, it's not like, Juneteenth is a holiday and now we're jumping for joy. But that kind of touched me and it made me say, maybe I could take a moment just to celebrate this and honor this and think of an elder like Rep. Davis, 79 years old, who thinks this is important. And knowing how so many folks didn't know about Juneteenth until last year. But nonetheless, I said, maybe we should celebrate the wins, celebrate the good. I don't know. I kind of thought about it differently. Amisha, am I wrong? What do you think?
I think that some lemonade comes with sugar and some doesn't. In this case, I agree with your original statements. I thought that Juneteenth, as much as we need to commemorate, remember that it happened. Right now, we're fighting for basic voting rights. We're fighting for housing security. We're fighting to have our civil rights recognized. We're fighting for criminal justice reform and police reforms. I don't think that everyday lives of Black Americans are going to be changed by making Juneteenth a federal holiday. In all honesty, over 70% of Black Americans aren't even going to get off from work on that day because they don't work jobs that allow them to take federal holidays off. So there are going to be a lot of things associated with this that don't even apply to our population. I'm more concerned with the fact that this was basically fast-tracked through Congress, and it was one of few things that got bipartisan support, the only thing out of this administration that has gotten bipartisan support. Meanwhile, most Americans won't even be able to learn about Juneteenth in their classrooms because Republicans are pushing so fervently against critical race theory. So it's a win, I guess, in symbolism, but it is not a win in progress.
I hear you. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bruce?
Let's add on to that because I think Amisha kind of hit all the main points. Juneteenth being another federal holiday, it's just another day that I'm paying taxes for people to get paid for. And again, most of the federal government is employed by white people. So if this has an educational component that's not going to be just barbecues like we do with Memorial Day and Labor Day, maybe. But looking towards this, is Juneteenth going to lead to other pieces of reparations that the Black community has been asking for literally hundreds of years of what has actually happened in our history? So Juneteenth being a holiday, a federal holiday at that, it's just one thing. Can we have the real conversation of making the Black community whole from the American government? And that simply has not happened yet.
What is interesting to y'all points is that Governor Abbott, the demon governor of Texas, who still is trying to put Crystal Mason behind bars for voting while on supervised release. Crystal Mason, a single Black woman who is facing more jail time, was already in jail. Nonetheless, he is working to not only ban critical race theory, because it starts with critical race theory, but now he wants to ban teaching about racism in schools in Texas. Like, it's beyond just critical race theory was just a word they could attach themselves to. But now it's even further that, okay, we have to now ban teaching about any kind of racism. I'm going to pull, he's going to pull on his daughters of the Confederacy roots. Like, we can't even teach about it because it's just too dangerous. So to y'all point, I get what y'all saying. In the very state where they went to tell enslaved people, you are no longer in bondage, that very state with their governor, Demon Seed Abbott, is now doing the work to try and make sure the history of those folks who were in bondage and after that cannot be told. So I get it. I understand. I understand what y'all are saying. I just felt like I heard, Rep Davis speaking, it warmed my heart a little bit.
No, I get what you're saying there, and I'm a native Chicagoan. I know Rep Davis well. He's a West Side guy. He speaks like he's talking out of the burning bush and the Ten Commandments. Great guy. However, I do think that for people on the ground, even people in his own district, the West Side of Chicago right now has the highest Black male unemployment in the entire nation. A celebration of Juneteenth and Juneteenth becoming a holiday does not change anything for them. And locally in Chicago and several other places, we've seen since last year when a lot of people started to acknowledge what Juneteenth was in general, and even Black people just learned what it was, to be honest. We've seen locally that counties and states, particularly those who have large Black concentrations of population, have decided that they're going to honor this as a holiday themselves. So I think that, the federal government was kind of following in that pathway. But what I don't want this to be is a bookend on Republicans saying, okay, well, we did something to help Black people. Now y'all go away and be quiet. And I don't want Democrats to take this as a victory lap when there are still 5,000 other things that Black people are waiting to get done, because I don't think Juneteenth is going to be what brings Black people to the polls in midterms in 2022.
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't think that Biden can use Juneteenth as one of the bullet points for the reason why we need to sweep the Senate in 2022. I hope I never hear him say that. Like, oh, well.
Sure, he will say it.
I hear that.
I'm sure.